Welcome to a demonstration of the Zeus programming editor. Zeus is a general purpose programming editor, and if we look at the types of programming languages it supports, you can see there's quite a few, but today we'll be doing HTML, and as you can see there's a few HTML files there. There's cascaded style sheet, there's HTML, there's JavaScript, Perl, PHP, Python, that sort of thing. But yes, today we'll show some of the HTML features of the Zeus programming editor. So let's start. A little trivial thing here. Assuming you've got some sort of text file. There's a little macro right here to convert that text file to HTML. It's HTML, but it is certainly HTML as shown by the browser. But that was just a little side event. Let's start by creating a HTML document. So we go to the HTML section here, we select the HTML document, and these are all the macros that we have available to us. So let's start by creating a new file. And what that's done is it's created a new HTML file using the HTML template. And as you can see by this comment, this is the actual template file. And if I highlight that and then go open it, I can actually view it. So let's make a little change to it. Let's put in another header, a header 5. Naturally you can put whatever you like in here, but we've just made a little simple template file. So I'll save this one. I'll save this one to disk. There's our first. We'll replace that, and now I'll create a new one with our new template, and you'll notice the comment section will go and we'll have a second header. So if I create a new one, there we go, and I'll save that one to say, let's make that tutorial 1. Now the first thing we can do with that, now we've actually got ourselves a HTML5, we can start using some of these tags. So for example, if I need to put in a paragraph, I just type in P and away we go. I can also, can't spell. But let's say we take some existing code, for example. Maybe we'll take some text file here. We can highlight a section of it, maybe convert that to a paragraph. Let's do that. There's our paragraph. You know, maybe highlight this section, convert that to a paragraph. There we go. Highlight that section. It's converted to a paragraph. We can save that. Now Zeus is a programming editor, so it has a compile feature, and in this particular case we have we've configured the compile option to run a tidy on it to show for any HTML errors. So as you can see, there's the command line it'll be running. So if I go here and I compile this, it's coming up with a warning, okay, a doc type warning message. And as you can see, there is no doc type on that. So if I go back here, copy this doc type from over here, paste that into there. I could have actually used the doc type template right there, but now we compile it, it's compiled successfully. Now that'll pick up errors, like if I had a list item here, my list, and I try to compile that, it'll say it's missing, missing a body and missing an unordered list or an ordered list. I mean, now what did I do there? I actually ran the list item macro template, or the template, which is this one here. So I can either type in the item list item and it expands out, or I could have just gone and double clicked on it. Now there's a whole bunch of macros. For example, there's a unordered list macro, or there's an ordered list macro, and so on and so forth. table macro, for example. And they're all either controlled by the keyword or through here, through the template section. Now the other thing I can do is I can actually run macro to view that. So if I view that in the web browser, we have our web page. The macro from macro will get tiresome very quickly. So the next thing we can do is we can actually bind that to a key. So if we go to the options, go to the keyboard section. As you can see, there's lots of keyboard options. There's an Emacs clone, an Epsilon clone, a WordStar, and a few others. My choice is the brief clone. Now if we edit that, we're going to use the F5 keyboard key. Now that's currently bound, so we'll remove that binding and we'll go to the script section. And let's bind the F5 key to the browser macro. We'll assign that applied. So now I should be able to just leave the browser use F5, which naturally makes it a little quicker. Now another feature is the Zen Coding. For those not familiar with Zen Coding, I'll give you an example of what Zen Coding is. You have constructs similar to this, which defines a Zen expansion string. And again, I can run a macro called and expand that Zen code. And away we go. Now, once again, that's a bit tiresome because it's constantly using the menu. But again, if we go back to the menu, to the keyboard mapping, this time I'll hit the menu and I'll use Shift Space as my key. So if I go to the macro section, hit Shift Space, it's not bound to anything, and I use the Zeus Zen Python script to assign that, apply that, and I've got another example of a Zen code here. Let me copy that. So here's another example. Now if I use Shift Space, away we go. Now Zen Coding actually does standard constructs as well. Shift Space on that, I get a table. So it can do the standard sorts of things, the paragraph. Now one thing you notice is the Zen code have got the tag in lowercase, whereas the Zeus templates are in uppercase. Well, that's not that good. So, but that's easily fixed. What we need to do is go to our template section, and here are all the Zeus tags. And basically, you can add as many as you like. And if we, for example, go to the table case, you can see this is the table template. It has a keyword of, this is what fires it, the keyword. This is what it appears like in the menu, and this is what it actually replaces to. And the -C represents the location where the cursor will go, and the dashed or marked represents the marked area, if there is any. Now, what we have to do is change all of these to lowercase. Now, going through all of these by hand would be just so painful, but that's why we can just go, we export the keyword, the template list, and we'll export it to that file right there. We'll override it. And here's our exported template list. Now, through the power of a regular expression, we can make a change to all of those. So if I now go to Alt-T, change to do a search and replace, I'm going to change any text inside the less than, greater than characters. I'm going to change it to a lowercase version of itself using a regular expression. So we can check this out. Here's our first example. We'll replace that. It looks like it's working, as you can see. Okay, let's replace them all. And away we go. We've now replaced them all. So we can save that and import the template. So let's go back to the properties section, go back to the templates and import that from here. And apply those changes. And we're done. So now, with our new sets of templates, if I type in table, it's now all in lowercase. Naturally, we've got code folding and things like that. Now, one other feature that we have, well, let's put in a, this is a link. Let's add a link to the page. Okay. So we highlight the link and add ourselves our reference there. And we'll reference the other other page here. So what we can do is we can go another macro to copy the name of that page, copy file name to clipboard, we'll save that away, paste that in there. We only want a relative path, so we can do this. Away we go. We can run that in now. We can use our F5 key, of course, to run in the browser. And away we go. We're linking to our pages. But another thing that we can do is navigate to that file using the keyboard or the menu. So if I highlight that file name and then I go View, Open, it'll navigate nicely to that link. Similarly, I could use the Control-E keyboard to navigate to it as well. So, and that navigation also works across FTP, because Zeus has FTP capability, so it'll actually open that file on the remote server as well, if and when required. But yeah, it just makes moving around the files a little easier. And finally, there's a workspace feature. Now, in this case, we haven't got a workspace, but I've got a simple workspace created before. And so I've loaded the workspace. There's a file that doesn't exist, so I can remove that. But let's add let's actually open up this file. And I can go add current file to the project. So now we have a way of navigating the workspace. And naturally I can also use the open using registered application, which is going to be the browser. I can load any of those pages right there and then. And so forth. And finally, now my HTML is rubbish, but hopefully you get the idea. Because these files are in the workspace, the Zeus will also run a bit of tagging on it. Now, it's come up with the generic names for programming languages, but as you can see, it's actually tagged what it thinks is a function as all the different headers. So you can basically navigate to any header anywhere in the whole workspace, or you can navigate to any title anywhere in the workspace, and you have references. You can have and so on and so forth. So it's actually done a bit of C-tags, tagging information on the files in the workspace. Now, the names are obviously not right. The variables should actually be titles, and the references, well, the references are probably right, but the functions are actually headers. So, and I can change that. I go to the options in the workspace, and I go to the labels. So we said the variables were the titles, and the functions were the headers. So the functions. Apply. And there we go. So now, I can't spell. Let's fix that up. Labels. Oh, it probably was spelled right. Okay. and as you can see from the workspace, there's a whole bunch of other things that will get tagged. I'm not sure what they are at this stage, but that's basically a quick rundown of some of the features of the Zeus editor when it comes to programming HTML. I hope you've enjoyed it.